All right, so since LOAON is complete for the summer, let's quickly go over some of the things. So remember, I listed up all these things in the beginning about what could come out, and it was new director, right? So that's what we wanted to see. These directors that are newly placed, they've been working on the game for a long time. For example, the person in the middle, he has said that he worked on the game for 9 years, and he worked closely with Gold River. So it feels like Gold River was teaching and mentoring their teammates to make sure that they can carry on of what he's trying to achieve. And it feels like, when a good leader, I think it feels like Gold River was a really good leader because all the teammates of the developers, people on the team, they highly respect him, and then they wanted to carry on of what he's trying to do for Lostark, right? And you can tell that by the interview that she had with most of the directors. And at the same time, the thing that I was kind of disappointed was they were not sharing actual problems up front because it takes a lot of courage. For example, bringing up in data to prove certain things, like let's say balance, there's this problem, there's that problem, etc. They kind of don't like it's kind of you kind of get afraid of getting the backlashes, right? So it tended to be like a very front and just an introductory presentation. For example, only share the good stuff, if I would say, right? And after they've been like looking at different things in the beginning, the first topics that they talk about which was all QoL things, which Gold River did mention that he's going to work on the QoL stuff because a lot of the stuff was outdated in the game. So the QoL stuff was focused, including something like the server related connections between players. For example, as you guys may know, problem friending people that are different servers. So if you look at here, it seems like we are going to get friends list or roster friend people from different servers very easily. So this is also including, it's going to branch off into visiting their strongholds as well, right? Instead of Lupeon server, my stronghold, only I can, and people like who are in the same server can visit the stronghold. Now it's going to be multiple server wide. So it's going to be pretty good because it branches off into different types of things where we can all hang out at Saint's stronghold, or we can all hang out at Zeo's stronghold, right? And the second one is the tripods, right? So when you look at tripods, tripod has an issue. So as the director at the very far right, he deals with the rewards and systems like payons and etc. Tripods cost a lot of money, and those of you who have already tried to level up tripods, it was really hell to do so. So they're going to change it into there's be a graduating related farming, as in like there's a graduation for it. If you've done it, it's done. As in like, let's say if you read your grudge books, right, you're done for like almost forever, right? So since you're done forever, so if you look at the close up in the you notice there's buttons here too. It seems like you can select 1 or 5 if you have it up as level 5. So there's no such thing as like you choose different gears to set it up as a certain thing. So like let's say you have a hat that gives one tripod to level 5. Instead, all these can be level 5s and you can just choose it at your will. That's why when the MC asked them that what is the percentage is going to be, obviously this says 100, but it's probably not. But the increase of percentages, it's going to be higher. For example, level 4 tripod is 10%. If it's going to be higher, maybe it's going to be like 20 or something, or 15. That's still higher, right? But the point that even if it's 15, if you just need to do it once, I'm okay paying for it. The reason why people are not switching tripods is because what if I switch the tripod and the next week there's a fucking balance patch and you have to switch the tripods again? You don't want to do that. That's a big problem, right? And they noticed that, and then they're going to switch it accordingly, which is the new tripod system that's coming up very soon. And that's probably the easiest way to explain how the tripod system is going to be. I don't know any more details other than that, because if you look at it here, it says my tripod information. These are the tripods here, right? And then it seems like you can level it up. But the fact that it's a graduation is really good, as in like you don't have to redo it again. Like, cause like for example, like war dancers, right? You have to do all your tripods over again. Same thing for gunslingers. When the 7M build, the newer build came out, you have to use your handgun. You have to switch 3 different tripods. Shotguns have 3 tripods too. Getting all of them to level 5 is a big headache. And you have the raids too. This is super simple. Basically, you have the Guardian raids, and then this guy Vergrace is like the king. Like, can just say he's like a king of Guardians, right? No spoilers, but you know, because of the story, etc. The Guardian is going to be under his control, so it's going to be like a test, right? And then it seems like there's another tab where we kind of go into the Chaos realms to like purify some Guardians or something like that. But there's not much more information other than that. But the director's point of view was they're going to update and try to go to the new, like try to introduce new things. With that one, this is like pretty interesting because they say class balance patches. So class balance patches coming out again, and at the very end they assume it at August, right? That's pretty quick. Balance patches will be much faster, right? Much more frequent, right? And then it's going to usually exchange itself in balancing a little by little. With the tripod exchange, if the balance patches is coming more frequent, there will have to be a system to back it up. That's why you have the tripod system. So this is Trixion. They're going to enable tripods, free tripod exchange for Trixion, and you get to equip gems too for free, and you get to switch car sets as well. This is actually really big because not only is 2550, yeah, it shows 2550. It's the latest combat stat, the maximum combat stat that you can get. You can actually test builds properly now, because before you can't choose tripods in Trixion, and you can't really choose gems in Trixion either unless you buy them. They're going to improve the test server too. So in test server, the problem was when I tried the test server, I couldn't really test anything. Like I had to like buy stuff, like all these do the grinds, and like I have to cut my stones, etc. to get the build up. Now you can actually like you can set accessories to whatever the engravings you want, etc. And then the tripods and all that stuff, you can get it all there. But the goal is the test server is a test server. This also means that if it's going to be very easy to test server and very easy to sandbox, that means they're going to try their very best to change balancing very frequently. That's why they mentioned to change balances earlier. If you want a healthy balance change frequently, you need the systems to back it up, which is the test servers and Trixion. And then you have the new MVP, which also mentioned here that Gold River does not like DPS meters, and the reason why, and when you guys talk about that, when we were talking about it during our live thing, was the argument itself of DPS meters, yes or no. It even starts a fight with just talking about the topic. It's just, to me, honestly, it just brings toxicity. Even if you talk about the topic in general, you don't really need it. As he was saying, the damage dealt percentage that we usually see, there's not going to be more than that in terms of DPS meters. I mean, DPS related, MVP related things. And they also mentioned like kind of emblems that you can be rewarded for doing really well. They added like new poses and badges and stuff. Because at the end of the day, MVP page is something like, do you feel proud of your performance? And it's to check it. And if it delivers that emotion, I think it's good enough. Right, and then that's what he was worried about. He was very careful about it because DPS meter is something very sensitive. But if Gold River said no to it, it's just keeping his words. Now there you go. And then they're also changing up PvP, but I'm not really experienced at PvP at all. But for something like, you know, you can see more people's builds, and then you can also add bots to practice. That's about it. This over here, the Z scale, as in when you're in the air. He was actually talking about it a little bit. When you're in the air, like when you hit, you just come down. Like there's like a Z axis or something like that, and like the attacks needs to miss or something. So I guess like in terms of PvP, they're going to change the systematic stuff that it requires to, like the judgment percentages. That's about it, but I don't know too much about it because I don't PvP at all, so I can't really tell. But it seems like they're going to keep working on PvP to make it more fair. You got some more stuff like selfie upgrades, like taking pictures. These are good. There's also videos too. Yeah, so they made like a video where there's like a bunch of filters that you can make and put some stickers and then make pictures accordingly, right? I think that's good because it's like one of those end game content stuff. The true end game, adding poses and things. They'll add poses more later and all that stuff. Now, and the biggest one that I thought was pretty cool was the world map UI, where you can actually drag and scroll in. It'll be active. It'll be like in a better pop-up window, etc., to actually make the game more smooth. Which I think this is a really good change, because the map right now is garbage. This map is totally garbage. You have to click here, and then you have to click here if you want to go to the next island. You have to click here, etc. Right? It's like all mixed up. And I'm assuming, I remember they were saying things like you can't change it because like the system itself, you have to like rip it apart or something like that. Maybe that's why it took long, but they're changing it, so it's good. So most of the QoL stuff is towards new players, and I'm very glad that they're doing that. Yeah, and then again, when I say new players, they are adding systems to help new players, right? Like the new quests and all that stuff, with new buffs and things like that. Right, and then they also added things like, you know, the auction house improvements and all these things. So that being said, and then the next week we're gonna go over the after story for Algacia. These are things that are more spoiler related, so I don't really need to talk too much in detail. And then we have the Aeromancer coming out, which the Aeromancer video is here that you guys have seen. This is a DPS synergy related DPS. They said synergy DPS. That means, like, I'm assuming she gives a lot of DPS related buffs to the party, so it'll be like a, not a support, but like a DPS that has a buff, I guess, like just DPS buff only. And this is coming out at and Aeromancer's coming out in July 6th, which is in 2 weeks, which I'm going to play. We'll find out when we play. And then we got the new Guardian called Sonavel before the frog, and then we have the Cal Eligos. This is a 1490 Guardian that you guys are going to be facing in the future with Roshaza. This guy, basically a hell mode comes out. So the reason why I'm not really talking too much in detail on the new content is because you guys are not going to be seeing it for a long time, and it's kind of like a spoiler, right? And at the back, which I didn't notice mention, was the stronghold updates for QoL, where you can actually go in to other people's strongholds and do mini games and stuff. That's about it. Other than that, there's not much. So to wrap it up, like, you know, we did the NPC voting thing, and at the end there is, like, you know, the loot boxes. We got a bunch of stuff. We got skins, etc. And then we also have like a new island thing. It kind of looks like a Fall Guys Makoko mode. Something like this kind of update for NA references you guys might have in the future, where there's a thing called a Story Express. What Story Express does is you start from the beginning, and then you just progress through the story, like doing the quest, just doing the main story. And whenever you need to move over to another region, they just give you the gear. That's what they said. They're just going to give you the gear. They're going to give you the gear to Sushire, and they're going to give you the gear to Rohendo, etc. And then if you finish the South Fern, it's over. Story Express is over at that point. That's called the Story Express. And then what Hyper Express is they just give you a free 1302 character that can go to 1340, or a character, and then 1340 to 1445. Let's say 1445 is going to 1460. I didn't hear too much into detail about it, but it says it'll be much easier. And it seems like they're trying to do their best to have new users coming in for, like, they just want, they're focusing on trying to get new users for Korean server, because it seems like all the influx of new users are going down. And obviously these kind of events will exist in NA as well in the future, because, like, as of now, 1460, I said it as a joke, but this is your end game. 1460 is your end game, guys. And 1302 is pretty high as well. And then you have your ARK pass. These are like very standard stuff. So this is like the full roadmap, where, like, the June we're finishing up with Algacia after story. We're gonna be busy with Aeromancer on July, with the summer festival with Hyper Express, etc. And then we have August, where we're gonna be doing Akan, the new Legion raid, with a balance patch, which was really weird, because I don't know how you would pull off a balance patch with a new Legion raid out. Maybe August might be pretty chaotic, to be honest. July might be not pretty chaotic. It would be people playing a bunch of Aeromancers. And then, you know, you have August to just chill out, you know, with the new island, all that stuff. I think people will be just focusing on doing a con. What I'm worried about is this particular LOAON, they didn't go anything in detail. For example, we don't know what eye level Akan is. We don't know like a certain like spec related things, or we don't know any of the details of like gold gains, etc. Like all these things, right? I don't know when they're going to share it, because like if it's just going to be like an update before, or maybe what if it's going to be like a surprise broadcast? Maybe that's better, because the information that they're giving to me, it's not enough. So like I don't if they don't give it to me, I'm totally fine with like not with them not sharing it, because if they're just focusing on getting the new users getting signing up to the game, I am happy for it, because I can always wait for that, right? But some people who played the game for a long time may feel uncomfortable with the lack of information that they're sharing right now, but with the stuff that they shared to make things excited is good enough for me. But that's just my opinion. LOAON Summer itself, I'm kind of happy with all the news. Like most of the stuff I kind of expected is there. It's coming out. It's something to be excited about. You would do the I would do the Hyper Express to increase my roster so that I can have more characters for me to just try out and have fun with. Same thing for like Aeromancers, right? So, yep, and that's the wrap up. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else to share, because we just got some of the coupons and the skins and all these things. I'm just very happy that we are seeing like I like the directors. I like it, but we'll see how that goes. And like I just like the directors a lot. It sounds like they're very passionate. They kind of know what they're doing. It's just that later on, when they're more comfortable with the community, comfortable with the reactions and everything, it feels like they can share more in the future. So that's about it, though. Yep. So that's a wrap up. Again, that's a double wrap up. Hope you guys are excited. As in, way later you get this, cause the NA stuff. You know what? I'm kind of sad that they didn't really mention NA, but can't really get the best of both worlds, right? But either way, it's good.